Hi guys, and welcome back to a new episode with Tanoko 1. I know it's been a minute, mostly because I stay sick and exhausted. I stay very busy in real life, so I don't always have time to do discussion videos if there's anything really terribly to discuss. So this week we're doing Ladies Drink Free, which is the return of Claire Novak, and hopefully will lead to a spin-off of Wayward Daughters. Fingers crossed. And then, but there was a lot of split reactions regarding it, which surprised me. You know, so we're going to get into that. I really like the episode. I adore Claire. So anytime she, Jody, Donna, Alex, anytime they're back, we're good. Like seriously, I would watch the heck out of a spinoff. I really enjoyed the episode, though I do understand where some people had issues. Mostly with the lack of mention of even Castiel, especially given his relationship with her and the fact that, you know, Jeremy Carver and them have already said the fact that, you know, it's almost a parental feelings he has for her. And it's almost turned into like a surrogate, you know, relationship for them, and it's, you know, I get that, and I get why it's frustrating for fans. Also, the fact that the lack of continuity, when the writers fail to even follow up on, you know, what Castiel is doing, or last we heard, Dean talked to him, he noticed something was weird with Cass, but they've yet to follow up on it, which is just, it's poor writing. Plain and simple. Be that as it may, I still really enjoyed the episode, and we're going to try to get right into that. Also, there's been a lot of discourse in fandom as of recently. Like, the huge, massive double standards between fan artists and fanfic writers is ridiculous, and it's just, it needs to stop. Like, the disdain y'all apparently have for fanfic writers, and the fact that people love throwing money at fan artists, and Prince, and Society6, and Redbubble, whatever. More than happy to support them, but the first moment a fanfic writer like either wants some sort of reaction from the fandom or would dare make their book available for print, not even at profit, just available where somebody wants a physical copy, y'all flip your fucking lids. And it's ridiculous and unfair because they're covered under the same laws of fair use. And the fan artist gets to actually make profit off of their stuff, even if it's a marginal one, but still, it's in new day, same fandom. Anonymous said, yes! Good episode. Claire was badass. I loved her. My life. I get all the votes line. I'm with her. Dude, yes, definitely. I like the fact that in that moment, you basically have two white men trying to make decisions over her, regarding her life. And she's just like, my body, my life, my choice. I get all the votes. And I'm just like, yes! So yeah, I did like, and one was doing it out of control and the other one was doing it out of concern. They were both in the wrong. And I think Dean at least got that when she said it that way. He wasn't happy about it, but Dean was so dead. He so was. Sam was so nerd. He so was. Mick was okay too. His stubble still looks painted on. It does! Oh my god! It's distracting. It just like, they gotta do something different. That it's not working. Mary, nary a mention of Cass, grumpy cat face, but meh, we're used to that by now, I guess. Anywho, there must and shall be Wayward Daughters. Bet you $50 they're going for it. I am pleased. Yeah, no, the whole lack of mention of Castiel, like I said, is really bad continuity. It's really shows the writer's weak points and their team as a whole as weak points, and where they are failing to do their jobs well. That's been an issue over the entire series, is the lack of continuity across where it feels like each episode flows into the next one as a team, rather than it being very episodic and okay, this one was this person, this one was this person. They don't seem to flow into each other like an ongoing story. And Buck Lemming's just like, screw the rules, we do what we want! Who cares about continuity? We're just gonna throw it out there! We came up with this idea, we don't even know what's happened the rest of the season. And we're like, man, Buck Lemming. Which, by the way, they have an episode coming up, so get your Buck Lemming bingo cards. XS Patina said, to me, this episode, Claire has so many parallels to both Sam and Dean. She's definitely always had it with Dean, but this episode, Sam. For example, both not wanting to do what their families wanted and kind of rebelling. LOL. For Claire, it's not going to college and living normal. It's not going to college and living normal, while for Sam, all he wanted was to feel normal and did go to college, and both ending up being rebels in their families. There are a lot of parallels between Claire and the boys. And I think a lot of it comes from the fact that with Claire's in a better emotional state now that she's with Jody and she has a stable home life and she does have a family that cares for her. And this has probably been the first time since Cass took Jimmy as a vessel that she's had that. In earlier episodes when she first came back or whatever, that was sort of the start of it. And now she's basically concreted into, okay, I've got, not only do I have a mom and a sister, but I've got Dean and Sam and Cass who will always be there for me and, no matter what. And she knows that now and it's sort of solid for her, in which case she probably hasn't really trusted it, too terribly much because of how unstable her life has been. Be that as it may, having a better current situation does not undo all your previous traumas and scars and wounds and injuries. So Claire still has issues out the wazoo. I mean, she does. And it's going to take a long time to get over those and past those. And she even says it to Sam, basically, she's trying to work through them. And going to college and being a normal kid isn't what's going to do it for her. That's only going to make her feel more ostracized, and she doesn't need that. Anonymous said, well, some people are so upset that Cass is not in this episode because they have this idea that Claire is Destiel's daughter, and so not having him in this episode bothers them. It's the same thing when Dean is not with Cass in an episode Cass is in. Many Destiel shippers get upset. Same reason so many Destiel shippers love Claire and God, using their sexuality to somehow twist into Destiel. Same reason Destiel shippers hated Hannah. Claire was never her own character to Destiel shippers. It's so fucked up. What the hell are you talking about? Sorry, that was initial reaction. Okay, so I'm not sure what part of fandom you've been interacting with, but this is completely inaccurate. Hi, I'm a Destiel shipper. I'm also a multi-shipper. I ship Sam with just about everybody. Seriously, give Sam all the love and a dog. But I'm a Destiel shipper. Hi, how you doing? Do people think Claire is like Destiel's daughter? No. Do they think that, she is somehow, in any episode she's in, she has to be there, attached to Castiel, and they basically make her entire character revolve around a man? No. Now, do they also want Castiel back because of the fact that his previous episodes with her and the fact that it has been established that he has like a parental concern and love for Claire? Yes. Now, do they want him back and also in an episode with Cass and Dean because of the fact that they both have a parental care for Claire? Yes. But it's not making her about them, it's them about her. And the fact that Dean basically really wants to be a dad, and just loves to adopt people and likes to take care of people and basically is very maternal, and paternal. And the fact that, Cass loves so much. But there's no direct tie to Claire and Destiel and, Destiel shippers ruining everything apparently, which we get blamed for a lot, but we're not the ones, never mind, I'm not going to get into that because y'all are just going to make me angry. But it's not about Claire and her character revolving around Destiel. It's more the fact that they both care so much about her. And just wanting them to, build on that relationships. Because that's one thing we love about Supernatural and has been from the beginning, is the relationships in it. It's not the monsters. It's family don't end with blood, and it's the relationships between Dean and Sam and Bobby and Dean and Sam and Jody and Dean and Sam and Cass and just, all this found family that they have, which now includes Claire. And the fact that Dean and Cass are the ones who are immediately sort of most bonded to her. With Dean taking her, putt golfing, and the fact that Castiel goes and buys her a birthday present and is very much cares so much what happens to Claire. And it's just, it has nothing to do with the ship. Like, seriously, correlation here, people. Nothing to do with it. They just so happen to both have a very much more closer relationship to Claire than Sam does, which is okay. You know, and then we got to see Sam sort of bond with Claire, you know, more this episode, which is, like I said in previous things, is interesting because of the fact that Sam has the ability more to sympathize, whereas Dean has a stronger ability to empathize, and that very much colors their relationships and interactions with other people. So it's almost like Sam has a harder time clicking and bonding with people. And whereas Dean does it much more strongly and almost immediately. So I think that's very evident as far as Sam's reactions and interactions with Claire. They, you know, it's how many episodes, and he's just now kind of getting sort of closer to her, and they sort of had a heart-to-heart. And you know, he very obviously, you know, genuinely does care. And so it's, like I said, nothing to do with SDL. Like, I'm sorry you hate ships, and I'm sorry you hate Dean and Cass, and I'm sorry you hate people that apparently ship Dean and Cass, and I'm sorry you possibly are a homophobic bigot. That's on you, not on us. As is basically everything else. You know, and as far as the ship goes, there's absolutely nothing wrong if Dean and Cass got together, and there's nothing wrong with them being parental towards Claire, and there's nothing wrong with wanting them to be in an episode with Claire. Hey for you. But it's not about wanting them in there because it has nothing to do with the ship. It doesn't. It's just wanting both, okay, wanting more build up on the art foundation that they already put down. It's the same issue with continuity that we're having currently with the fact that Dean has not questioned Castiel. Or followed up on the fact, does he sound weird to you? You know, same thing. They set down the foundation for Dean, or for the Claire Castiel dynamic, and have not followed up on it. This is the second episode since then that Claire hasn't seen Cass, and I don't think Cass even got a mention. Which the previous episodes is what makes it weird, and makes it bad writing, and sort of out of character, and unrealistic, and unacceptable. So that's the problem people are having. Anonymous said, man, the actress who plays Claire can't act. You shut your mouth. So overdoing it. People are comparing her to young Dean, but Jensen can act and was always natural with his remarks and such. For her, it just comes off as so fake. Okay, first of all, everyone's entitled to their opinion. You know, everyone sees different characters and actors differently. You don't like Claire's actress. That's fine. That's good. That's on you. I do. Other people love her and empathize with her. And that's on them, and that's great. You don't have to like every character. You don't. Certain people click harder with other characters than they do, you know, other ones. Like, I relate really hard to Dean and Cass, which apparently to a lot of people is the same as, you know, hating Sam and Jared, which it's not. He's just not my favorite, and I don't relate to him as hard. But I still love him. You, on the other hand, dislike Claire and dislike her actress and don't think she can act, and are trying to compare her to a man who's almost in his 40s, and his acting ability, and the fact that she is, like, I'm not even sure a legal adult yet, and her, you know, acting experience to this point has been limited. And yet, she is still very good. She's, you know, proving herself more and more as she continues to grow. And as she's given more opportunity, will continue to get better. You don't have to like her. That's fine. I disagree strongly, because I think she did a great job, but, you know, whatever. It's just difference of opinion at this point. I liked her. Sorry you didn't. It really probably took away from a fabulous episode, which was all the feels. All the feels. I nearly cried like 3 times. Seriously. Like, if you watch my reaction video, it's even subtitled. So, I'm really sorry you don't like Claire. And I'm really sorry you don't like her actress. And I'm sorry you don't think she's up to your standards. I think she's great. And I think she's got a lot of potential. And I think she's going to, if we get Away with Daughters, she's really going to blow it out of the park. So, because she's not only is she great and does she have a lot of potential, she's going to be surrounded by a lot of people who are also great. And so then they just feed off of each other and make each other better actors, especially as they get more comfortable in the role they're playing. Anonymous said, I was kind of sad to see Claire drive away alone at the end of the episode. I was thinking, aw, she needs a sister. I hope Alex gets on board with the hunting thing. Opening scene of Wayward Daughters spinoff, Claire turns up at Alex's nursing school dorm. Jody's on a hunting trip and hasn't been home in a few days. Don't you start with me. Do not, no, because if anything happens to Jody, I'm gonna flip a desk. Or maybe Chrissy. Those two would butt heads, I think, but it could be a good dynamic. I think mostly I just want it to be like, start off almost like it's a regular, very Gilmore Girls, like normal home drama type stuff, cozy, comfy house, and then, oh yeah, by the way, suit up, grab your weapons, we gotta go like decapitate some monsters. And people are like, wait, hold on 1 second, I thought this was gonna be like some chick show. Because of how we're constantly looked down on as, being somehow lesser. Anonymous said, next episode promo, I cannot express how not into Mary Ketch I am. Oh God, I know, that's so creepy. Just no. Fuck no. Buck Lemon can fuck off if they're really actually written that in. They probably are. They're the ones who wrote the next episode. I haven't even looked yet. I'm not surprised. I mean, because, he's not only is he a misogynist and a sadist and basically believes in mass genocide and just for the fun of it, oh God, he's so creepy. So creepy. I'm seriously beginning to think that there was a memo to the whole SPN writing team to write Mary as unlikable as possible. I cannot believe they're not doing it on purpose at this point because, Ketch, really? I am not happy. I don't think it's so much a reflection on Mary, and at this point I think she's just basically making herself hate herself more as punishment. I don't know. She's miserable, and it's very... I know a lot of people have pointed out the fact that this season parallels so hard to Buffy. Like, so much. Like, seasons 4 and season 6. It's ridiculous. And I think basically we're dealing with Mary, who's season 6 Buffy. And is doing things as sort of self-punishment because at least then she feels. Even if it means what she's feeling is self-loathing. And I think that's kind of what we're dealing with here because she doesn't look happy. And then also she's probably got a whole lot of angst because if she does sleep with Ketch, this will be like the first guy she slept with outside of John, and logically she knows he's dead and has been for decades in the real world. And the fact that he's, she has no access to him and literally she's a widow. But there's still a lot of, basically mind fuckery when it comes to that. And basically moving on from having lost a spouse or a divorce and, your first time going on a date with somebody else, or first time sleeping with somebody else. There's a lot of shame and self-loathing and almost you feel like you're cheating because your brain can't quite catch up to the fact that, no, this is actually okay. You're free to make this choice, on top of all the shame involved with women and sex. Anyways, they're not making Mary likable. It's not only just her story, but the fact that apparently Sam Smith can't act. She's sort of like a one expression pony. Reminds me of Kristen Stewart. There's no facial expression range. But yeah, oh God. Mary and Ketch, nothing against Mary. Seriously, nothing against Mary. But, because I seriously think it's more out of self-loathing than anything. But oh God, so creepy. So creepy. Oh God, skin crawlingly creepy. Because Ketch? That's creepy. Oh, he's just so, Ocean Blue and Forest Green said, how do you feel about Claire's return? Did Glenn do her character justice in your opinion? Yeah, she did. I was actually very worried. Because Meredith Glenn, her first episode right out the gate was terrible. It was so bad. It's the Hitler one. And it was horrible. Her second one was really good. It was regarding Dean. And we're like, okay, alright. So then we come up with our third one, which is going to be a really important, pivotal one as far as like possibly leading off into a spinoff. And it's like, okay, I'm nervous You know, you're a 50-50 shot on this one, whether or not you're going to get it right. I'm concerned, and this is an important one. Please don't screw this up. You know, you feel me? And then she did it. She knocked it right out the park. And I'm like, yes, good. This. I am pleased. I am pleased greatly. Continue. No, but I really like Meredith Glenn. And it was funny because on Twitter, somebody said something about the episode and dealing with consent. And she replied back, consent is the thing. And I love it because basically like every reply under that is, can you please tell that to Buck Lemming? Some kind of savior said, I wish Claire had been cured by the grace she carries inside her. That would have been a better solution to the situation, and it would have tied the storyline up nicely. See, here's the thing. My headcanon is that the grace in her is the reason she survived. Because if you remember, they talked about 1 in 9 in rodents survived the testing, and then the one person that the human test that they tried it on died so horribly they never tried it again. And while Claire did suffer, you know, a lot, and it was, you know, basically her body fighting off the lycanthropy, she did survive. And we already know canonically that vessels who have been possessed have residual grace left over in them. She's Castiel's vessel, you know, because she's, you know, the Novak bloodline, you know, and Castiel has possessed her, even if it was years ago. And only for a brief period of time. That residual grace is still inside her body. And I think that's the reason, or at least that's my headcanon, the reason why she survived. Bat Famalam said, I really don't understand why they didn't mention Cass even once. This is Caps Lock Rage, by the way. I'm not going to scream it. Claire is basically his daughter, and if anything bad happens, you'd think one of them would say, let's call Cass to tell him what happened to Claire. But no, apparently. I think this was the fault of the writer, and usually I like the writer for this episode, but I don't know. See, here's the thing. Claire has multiple parents. She's got Jody, who's basically her mom. And then she also has Cass, who is basically sort of adopted her. And then, you know, she's got Dean and Sam as well. And something that's addressed in the episode is the fact that nobody else gets to make decisions for Claire except for Claire. So whether or not she wants to keep it to herself what happened, that's on her. If she wants to, you know, call Jody, tell her, that's on her too. If she wants to call Cass, tell him, that's on her. You know, phones work 2 ways. You know, and prayer is still a thing that, you know, Claire could possibly use. The fact that it hasn't been written into canon, you know, as far as we don't know. We don't know if Claire and Cass are keeping up contact. I would think so because of the fact that Cass is very fond of texting and emojis, which amuses me deeply. But I think they would have sort of tentatively keeping that relationship going, and Cass basically trying to leave out breadcrumbs for Claire, but without being too pushy because of the fact that, oh wait, he does look like her dad. You know, is him keeping up with her and, you know, maintaining whatever contact she allows him until she's more comfortable with basically something more. You know, the fact that they didn't mention Cass, poorly done. Not everybody knows how to juggle multiple characters. Not like there's all that many. Like seriously, George R.R. Martin has like 20 million characters in the you know, Song of Ice and Fire books or Game of Thrones. So it's you know, and so it can be a challenge to juggle so many characters, and I think the writers need to learn to work on that, and also need to learn to work on, as far as, you know, continuity between one episode and the next. Like, you know, okay, you wrote this episode, let me see the script so I can figure out how to pick up the baton and run with it, you know, and then hand it off to the next one. And so that there's an actual flow between all the episodes, which they do not do very well. And Buck Lemming just basically does their own thing. They're like having a seizure over in the background, but it's them thinking they're doing interpretive dance, and just, it's not good. Anonymous said, I fuck yeah out loud when Claire says, it's my life, I get all the votes. I am so here for that sentiment coming from a young woman. High five to Meredith Glenn for that line. Booyaka. I like her. Anonymous said, after the episode, I'm kind of hoping Sam's endgame is to go to Europe and study that fancy school Mick was talking about. Dude, screw the Britishman of letters. I don't like those fuckers. I want to like Mick, and I want him to defect. and become an American Men of Letters, and basically work together. I've done actually a couple of potential season 12, basically, what's the word I'm looking for? Finale. God, if it had been a snake, it'd have bit me. But I've done a couple of those, which was a dream. And then the other one was basically somebody sent me like this horrible season 12 finale ending where basically it's just sad and pain and angst and death. And I'm like, that's a horrible idea. Let's not do that. Here, counterpoint. And so I ended up writing this whole other one, which was actually really fabulous, where they find out the British Men of Letters is actually run by like a Prince of Hell. And so basically Mick has already defected to the Winchesters' way of thinking, and the team of them basically take over the Men of Letters, killing basically all the evil people and getting rid of anybody else, and then basically offering everybody else the opportunity, you can either stay or you can go, but we're under new management. And then they go back home, and Mick is basically the new leader of the British Men of Letters, and, you know, basically ends up calling the Winchesters at the end of the season about the fact that, like, you know, I have a present, you know, as a, you know, gesture of our new friendship and, you know, teamwork and everything like that. How about we give your bunker a technological upgrade? You know, and basically it's the fact that there are so many lives to be saved. You know, and it pans out basically of Team Free Will looking around the bunker and the fact that it's fixing to get a major overhaul. And, you know, the boys are fixing to get new weapons, new lore, new everything, you know, and that basically leads into a brighter future, and as well as, you know, potential tie-ins to Wayward Daughters and different stuff like that, because I believe Jodie and Donna are still expected to appear later on this season. So there's lots of potential lead up into a Wayward Daughter spinoff, and then this tying into the fact that, you know, season 13 is just them kicking butt, taking names, saving lives, you know, doing what they do best as a team, but with better tools this time around, and then leading into a potentially happy way of ending the show, where the Winchesters basically set up their own Men of Letters and ultimately get to basically sort of either retire or be the new Bobbies. But they have, you know, they basically have a new squad of people and hunters, and everything's more effective and organized and, you know, connected, and, you know, and I think that's really, really great. And I think that would be really, really good for the characters. I think the characters need to step back and retire. I think the world is safer with them off the front lines. So, but we'll see. We'll see. Some Kind of Savior said, "Hey, so I'm super emotional about the last episode. So I was wondering if you have a more level-headed point of view. I feel like Claire's decision to risk her life rather than live as a werewolf was like a person choosing suicide over living with a chronic illness. Oh, honey. Suicide is always portrayed as a bad thing for humans on the show, but for monsters, like Madison and now Claire, it's portrayed as a reasonable thing to do. Why is it better to be dead than a monster? P.S. I miss Garth." Okay, so, I don't think it's quite the way you saw it, or at least to me it wasn't. To me it was more, because she even talks about the fact that, like, literally, she's loose cannon even on a good day. And Claire, like I said, Claire's damaged. Claire has a lot of issues. Claire has a ton of issues, and she has a lot of anger, and it makes her reckless and, you know, unpredictable. And the fact that being a werewolf takes a lot of self-control, which Claire does not have. And she readily admits, I'm a loose cannon on a good day. You know, there's no way I can do this with, this is going to amp up, you know, violent tendencies and recklessness and anger. You know, I don't want this. I will be uncontrollable, and I know that because I'm not in control now. So I'll be even more out of control and then dangerous to other people, and I don't want that. So I don't think it's so much about the fact that, you know, suicide's okay for monsters, is the fact that, you know, Claire just doesn't want to hurt anybody. And she knows what this is going to do to her is going to make her basically is, you know, a gun with the safety off. You know, randomly pointed into a crowd. And she's just like, I won't do that. I will not be that. And so the only way to do that is to take herself off the board. it goes back to the conversation that Dean has with Mick, the fact that it's not black and white. And that over the years, they've slowly learned there are ways that certain monsters can be human and they can control themselves. And in the beginning, everybody's under the belief that basically, you know, they can't. They're out of control, they're dangerous, and that there's nothing left human in them, that they're monsters instead of just creatures. And so that's been something that's learned over the series, is that basically, no, you can take the cards dealt to you and make them your own. And then some people, like Claire, are just basically like, I can't play with this hand. No, because other people are going to get, you know, not only hurt, but possibly dead. Because I know my issues, and I'm totally own my issues, which are out of control, and I'm already basically, you know, a loose cannon. And so I think it was specific to Claire and Claire's own issues and Claire's own trauma and Claire's own anger. You know, not generally so much with monsters as a whole. And so, you know, I get that Cop would have been upsetting for some people to watch, and especially if they feel it's directed at them, at the fact that, you know, it's better to die than live with a mental illness, especially when society is as it is, and the fact that, like, you know, Autism Speaks talks, you know, their whole platform is the fact that, you know, people with autism are a burden on society, and just how mental issues are portrayed, period, which is so great that the Blue Ranger in the new Power Rangers movie is autistic, and the Yellow Ranger is a lesbian. That just is fabulous. You know, because we need positive portrayals of mental illness and people with mental issues and, you know, depression and anxiety and just all of it. Was it a great one that Claire was wanting to make? No. Did she feel it was basically her only choice? Yeah. And it wasn't that she didn't, because it wasn't about the fact that she didn't want to live like this. You know, it wasn't that. It was the fact that she knew she'd hurt people, because she knew she couldn't handle it. She knew it was beyond what she could control, and that basically there was no other outcome than the people she loved or either innocent people getting hurt. So it was never about the fact that I don't want to be this. You know, it was the fact that this is going to get other people hurt, and destroyed. And, you know, this is going to ruin other people's lives, because there will be no control over it. So I think it was more that. And I'm sorry it was upsetting, because I get that. I get how that could be. There's a lot of issues as far as media, period, and the way it portrays relationships and sexuality and mental illness and women and, you know, just all this ridiculous stuff. And they fail so hard at it. I mean, they can't even handle diversity. I mean, you know, seriously, our cast is all white men. Apparently all white straight men for the most part. That's nothing like real life. You know, it doesn't even remotely look like real life. You know, and our fandom acts like, you know, making one of them bisexual would end the world. No, it would just make it slightly more realistic, aside from the fact that they're still all white men making decisions for the world, which is a disturbing parallel to real world life and the way it is. And our current presidential cabinet is like all men except for one woman who is also white. You know, so I get that was upsetting. I'm really sorry. But, you know, I don't think it was meant quite the way you saw it, or at least to me it didn't come across as that. But, you know, if you're still having down feels, you can come find me. You know, we can talk, whatever. I'll write you some stuff. I'll give you all the fluffy. But I am really sorry that hurt your feels. You know, and I hope it gets better at least. I hope, well, no, the next episode probably won't help anybody in the feelings department. But, buck lending bingo. It's a thing. It's a desperately needed thing for all of their episodes. But here's looking forward to next episode. Also, don't know if you follow me on Tumblr, but the giveaway has already started, which is a series of 4 fanfic books printed out. First place winner gets to pick 2 books they want. Second place winner gets to pick 1 book, and the third place winner gets the final book that's left over. Plus, it's Cast Not Cast mug, plus a Gadreel pillow, plus tons of bath bombs, and supernatural pens and a bracelet and like a metal poster thing like this that has it's the season 9 promo poster, I believe, and just like all the things. So that's really great. You can find out more details about that on my Tumblr, and to take part in that, you have to follow me on Tumblr, and then you have to reblog the post about it, just spread the information. And then there's a link that leads you to another website that will randomly pick the 3 winners. And you can sign into that actually a couple more than once. So that's, get in on that fun. I'm super excited, and there's some really awesome prizes. You have to be in the USA and you have to be over the age of 18. Basic rules apply, blah, 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 blah. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I'm looking forward to Buck Lemming Bingo. Not so much the episode, but looking forward to Cass coming back. Dude, like seriously, the continuity thing bugs me here. But I still love them. I still think they do a great job for the most part, except Buck Lemming. They're horrible. We all hate them. Seriously. That is basically the one thing majority of this fandom is united in, is the fact that we all hate Buck Lemming. And they're so not qualified to do their job. But, oh wait, who is one of them married to? Oh yeah. We also don't like him either, so. But I will see y'all back. Hope y'all enjoyed this episode. Hope you enjoyed this discussion. And I hope you enjoyed my reaction, or my live reaction videos, because I had a lot of fun watching the episode. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye!